Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to the Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. The Sandlot is presented by TerramarCollective.com and sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, EconoAir, South Bay Credit Union, Max Graphics LA, and Grit Sports Collective. The Sandlot returns for its 12th season and second on our new home, Fox Sports Radio 610 AM and 106.7 FM. Also streamed live on 610foxsports.com. We look forward to bringing you the childhood Sandlot stories from the biggest names in baseball, including players, coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media, as they reflect on their road to the big leagues. Last week on the Sandlot, we had former Major League player, now color commentator on Rockies TV, MLB Network, at Sirius XM Radio, and Apple TV, Sandlot regular Ryan Spilborghs. We also had one of the greatest knuckleballers of all time. He played 25 years in the majors until he was 47 years old, Charlie Huff. This week on the Sandlot, we have who's hot and who's not in both the American League and the National League with our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright. We also finally caught up with Red Sox Hall of Famer and Dodgers great, one of the greatest switch hitters of all time, Reggie Smith. Getting down the wire, Nick. Teams don't have many games left, and this is what it's all about, this last 10 days of baseball and what's going to happen. So we're going to start with American League East, the Blue Jays. They're 7-3 in their last 10, playing really good baseball when it counts the most. They're 89-64 overall, and they're 3 in front of the Yankees and 6 in front of the Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox have gone 5-5 in their last 10, and they were really in a position to make a move, and they've kind of played average. And then the Yankees at 6-4 are just hanging in 3 games back. Your Rays, when they could have really played well and stayed in it, have tanked. They're 4-6 in the last 10 and 14 games back. And Orioles, they're the spoiler of the division at 6-4 in their last 10, and they're 72-81 overall, 17 games back.
Despite Junior Caminero having 44 home runs, keeping on the Tampa Bay Rays home run record there.
And, you know, this is a guy that played over here in Australia in Perth a couple years ago, and he has come so far. What is he, 22 years old?
Yeah, he's a young guy. And also who's been hot, Tad, for Toronto, Bo Bichette and George Springer hitting 367 and 357 respectively in the month of August. I mean, they've been huge for the Blue Jays.
And turning up the heat when it counts. You know, those are two guys that have been. Bo Bichette has showed us he could be a superstar, but this year he really turned the corner. Springer has carried teams to and through the playoffs in the past, so you kind of expect it from him. And now that he's a vet, you just got to maintain and you got to stay healthy, and he's been doing it all year.
And Tad, I just got to bring it up really quick. Aaron Judge has just been on a heater in his last 7 games, hitting 474 homers, 4 ribbies. I just got to ask, I know maybe get into it a little bit more later, but a lot of people have Aaron Judge as the MVP this year, and down the stretch, he's burning it up.
Well, you know, then he's going to need to right till the end, because what Cal Raleigh's done all season long without any kind of lapses, he's had maybe a couple of runs where he went on a bit of a drought home run wise, but my God, he's a switch hitting catcher, and he's sitting back there calling games and, you know, squatting the whole game, hitting home runs, both right-handed and left-handed at a rate that's nobody has ever done in the history of the game as a switch hitter. He went past Mickey Mantle. When you go past Mickey Mantle in any kind of category, you're doing something. The fact that he's a catcher on top of it, that guy runs the game, and Seattle is in the hunt. So for me, he's MVP, the front runner, and Judge is the one that's got to prove that he's not.
I want to talk a little bit more when we get when we get down here to the AL West and talk about what Cal Raleigh did just a few days ago. And now let's go to the AL Central.
Yeah, the Tigers 3-7 in their last 10. And, they had such a comfortable lead. I guess maybe they pulled off the pedal a little bit and maybe got a little lax. And it gave the Guardians a chance to climb back in it. They've won 9 out of their last 10. And they're only 3.5 games back. And the Tigers have had as much as a 12.5 game lead in this division recently. So it's crazy how that turned around. And the Royals at 76-77, just a game under 500, 9 back. 3-7 in the last 10. I just wish they'd play better baseball down the stretch. Twins, same thing, 4-6, 18.5 back. And the White Sox, not the worst team in baseball this year at 57-96, 28 games back, 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at seeing Detroit's downfall because even Scooball had a game against Miami just a few days ago. But then he turned it around, had a great game against Cleveland. But, I just see Detroit just have this lapse of a 3-game losing streak while Cleveland has 7 in a row. It's going to make that wild card race for Cleveland that much more exciting and maybe the AL Central title.
It's pretty cool to see. And anytime a team gets hot there at the end and puts the heat on somebody that's been in front of them all year, I love it. I love to see it.
All right, Tad, let's swing over to the AL West.
Mariners, man, 9-1 in their last 10. Getting Suarez down there.
My God.
That's such a big deal for them. I think he's hit about 10 home runs since they got him. And whatever team got him was going to be an impact down the stretch because he's really been productive for them. And not only are they 9-1 in their last 10, but they've taken over. They're tied with the Astros at the moment, but they got a little momentum. Luckily for the Astros, they're 6-4 in their last 10 just to be hanging in there. And the Rangers, same thing, 6-4 in their last 10. That whole division's played well, including the Athletics and only your Angels 2-8 in the last 10. That whole division is way above 500 for this last 10 games.
Angels 7-game losing streak. They are officially 3 games below the Oakland Athletics of Sacramento of Las Vegas. I mean, being an Angels fan, quote unquote, it's just unbelievable. Just how bad of an organization that is under Artie Moreno. And Tad, I just said a minute ago, Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, he tied Ken Griffey Jr. for the franchise single-season home run record at 56. I'm pretty sure he's going to break that record. I mean, Tad, when I was a kid growing up, it was all about the Ken Griffey home run, video games. I mean, I grew up an Angels fan, but still, Ken Griffey Jr. was such an icon. And to see Cal Raleigh most likely break his home run record, that's something special.
Yeah, like he said, personally, I can't imagine my name up there with guys like Mickey Mantle and Ken Griffey Jr. It's out of his realm of thinking that he could be that guy. Well, he is. And again, switch hitting catcher that's doing something like that. I'm going to call that he ends up with over 60 because he's going to get hot. He's going to stay hot and he's going to end up with like 61 home runs.
I know what you said earlier about the home run debate on Judge and Cal, and I'm with you. Just for what he's doing as a catcher, I just think he's going to get it. And also, I mean, could it be possibly voter fatigue of Aaron Judge since he's won a few times? And I just think that added in the fact that what the big dumper has been doing as a catcher, and like you said, you made so many great points about it. Like, I think he's going to get awarded the MVP. I don't really care what his average dips to at the end of the season, especially if he breaks Griffey Jr.'s record.
Well, 247 and nowadays is above the league average, so he's doing that as well. And his strikeouts, everybody strikes out, but it's unacceptable to have 174. And if he could cut that down, this dude is out of this world.
All right, Tad. And now let's shift on over to the AL wildcard standings and see the outlook that we got going on here. It's going to be a crazy last week and a half of baseball. Tad, let's shift on over to the AL wildcard race and the wildcard watch here. And the Cleveland Guardians only a game and a half back of the Boston Red Sox. The Texas Rangers creeping with 4. I think it might be a little bit of a Hail Mary for them to make it. And you got the Royals at 7 back. We can write them off. Tad, do you think the Guardians can maybe sneak in? Because the Boston Red Sox are playing just 500 baseball right now. So, Tad, do you think the Cleveland Guardians could catch up to them?
I think so. Look, they got this one factor in their dugout right at this moment. It's called Old Mo. We call it Old Mo because they got the momentum in their dugout. And when you win 9 out of your last 10, you've got it. And when the other team's only playing 500, they certainly don't.
I want to ask you about that because a lot of sports people think momentum isn't really a real thing in sports if you have just, good enough athletes good team. Like, momentum is a fugazi, invisible thing that's not real. I mean, when you're a team that gets hot and wins 7 in a row and you go 9-1, I don't care what sport it is, momentum is a real thing in sports. It is an invisible barrier that really, you can't see it, but you know it's there and it's helping a team. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right. You don't see it so much on the field. You see it in the clubhouse. You see how the guys are interacting, how they treat each other, and how they feel about each other. And when you're on streaks, there's a bond there that's pretty solid, and it's hard to break it. So Old Mo is real. Now, there's a lot of things that can put the momentum in another team's dugout. But when you have him, when you got Old Mo, you try to keep him right where he's at.
The kids nowadays call it aura farming when you talk about the clubhouse morale and everything like that. I totally agree. All right, Ted, I want to shift over. Let's do our classic home run leader watch now. Like I mentioned earlier, Cal Raleigh has tied Ken Griffey Jr. for the Seattle Mariners record, and he is leading the league with 56 home runs. 3 more of Kyle Schwarber, who's been hot lately. 2 ahead of Shohei Ohtani with 51 and Aaron Judge at 48. Tad, I think it's safe to say Cal Raleigh will end the season as the home run leader, but, I mean, Kyle Schwarber, he's really been, I mean, he has 3 home runs in his last 7 games. He's got 7 in his last 15. Do you think Schwarbaum can maybe catch up to Cal?
I don't think so. I think Raleigh will end up winning the Schwarber will be the National League home run champion, but you never know because Ohtani's got 51. He's right there, too. I think that Cal will end up being the American League and Major League home run winner. And I think that it'll be between Ohtani and Schwarber who ends up with the home run title in the National League.
Do you think Schwarber can catch Cal Raleigh just to lead the league at the end of the year in general?
I don't think so. Just because Raleigh, I think, is hot. He's hot right now, and I think he's gonna stay hot. I'm calling that 61 number.
61 off 5 more. I'd love to see that. And Ted, real quick, I just want to go through some of the guys who have just been hot in August. The Milwaukee Brewers, Jackson Chourio. He is hitting .667 in the month of August. He's been huge for the Brewers. Gavin Sheets of the Padres, .412. Bo Bichette of, like I said, of Toronto, .367. And George Springer, .357. And then you got Francisco Lindor of the Mets hitting .350. Brenton Doyle of the Colorado Rockies, the one bright spot for the Rockies, Tad. He's hitting .344. They have to have some kind of bright light in there.
Yeah, and anytime you have a good month, that's always a good feeling for a young guy like that who's won a Gold Glove and been a really good player. I think he's the type of guy that ends up being an impact player for another team because he's too good for the Rockies.
Hey, Ted, I just want to look at the batting title here. Aaron Judge, top of the average at .328. Your guy, Jacob Wilson for the A's, .320. Even after coming off injury, he's still been doing great. And the aforementioned Bo Bichette at .311. Jeremy Pena at .305, tied with Trey Turner. Trey Turner top of the National League at .305. Tad, do you think Judge has this locked down, or do you think Jacob Wilson is going to creep up on him for that batting title?
To be honest, I hope that Wilson gets hot and he wins it. I just would love to see that because he's a throwback player. He's a guy that just finds holes. He's got a different approach at the plate, and his idea of just hitting the ball through holes is what it's all about, and he's been getting it done all year. I hope he wins a batting title. Plus, he's only struck out 36 times.
I mean, he's just a stud.
Thanks to our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright, for helping run down who's hot and who's not in the American League. We'll have more from Nick on the National League when we return. We're on KAVL, Fox Sports Radio, 610 AM and 106.7 FM. We are Fox Sports. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Terramar Collective. Check out terramarcollective.com.
This is Kevin Mesh, former major leaguer, and you are listening to The Sandlot.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective.
The heat was unbearable. My AC was striking out and my house felt like a summer game with no shade. Then I called EconoAir. What a game changer. They knocked the heat out of the park and now I'm comfortable year-round. Give EconoAir a call today at 714-333-0130. That's 714-333-0130. Sandlot listeners mention the show for an exclusive discount on maintenance or repair with EconoAir.
With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future. Do you want more than just wins for your kids? Do you want confidence, character, and grit? At Grit Sports Collective, we help young athletes play with purpose and train with passion. With elite coaching in baseball and basketball, we're building more than skills, we're building competitors. Because greatness starts with mindset and is earned through sweat. Grit Sports Collective. Play fierce, train harder. Now enrolling in San Diego, California. Visit gritsportscollective.com and sign up today.
It was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Something happening here.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 610 AM and 106.7 FM. Also streamed live on 610foxsports.com. The Sandlot is presented by TerramarCollective.com. Right now we have more from Nick Wright on who's hot and who's not in the National League. You got the Phillies have been just staying on fire. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're 12 in front of the Mets, who have 3-7 in their last 10. Total tank job. And at 91-62, not only have they got that division wrapped up, but they got some momentum going into the playoffs as well. I like the Phillies, but without Zach Wheeler, it's going to be tough in the playoffs.
I mean, what Kyle Schwarber's doing is unbelievable. I love seeing all these Schwarbombs happening. Yet the Mets are just 3-7 in their last 10. I mean, the jump that the Phillies took on them, Tad, I feel like it was only a couple weeks ago when they only had maybe like a four-game lead. Now they're up to 12. I mean, it's just insane. And now the Mets are clinging on to dear life in a wild card spot, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it's just crazy. Just got to throw in there, it is hot or not, the Atlanta Braves have won 5 in a row.
And they're 6-4 in their last 10. And it's good to see them show that they were a better team than they showed all year. But they're 21 games back and 13 under 500.
I really miss the Chipper Jones days, Tad. Let's shift on over to the NL Central.
Yeah, well, we got the Brewers doing what they do, 6-4 in their last 10, and it's a good thing that they played well because the Cubbies are 7-3 in their last 10, and now only 6 back. But I think the Brewers are still going to win the division. I don't think it's mathematically done yet, but I believe they'll win that division. And they're a really fun team to watch, and their manager has a different approach. So the Cubbies, hey, they're going to be a wild card team for sure. They're 6 games back, but they're 88-65, 7-3 in their last 10. Reds 5-5 in their last 10, 1 game over 500, which is cool to see. And the Cardinals, disappointment all year, 3-7 in their last 10. And the Pirates are just thrown in the towel, 1-9 in their last 10, 29 games back.
Just horrible. And, speaking of your Cubs, Cade Horton is 8-1 over his last 11 starts. He's only allowed just 6 total runs over that span. And, Tad, in the modern era, the only other MLB pitcher to have 8+ wins and 6 or fewer runs allowed over an 11-start span in a single season was Bob Gibson in 1968. Your guy, Cade Horton.
How about that? This kid has just been dealing. The other thing that's happened, we've seen Crochet from the Red Sox, a rookie, and the early kid come up and deal the other day, which was really cool to see. And another thing we've seen with pitching, Shohei had a no-hitter for 5, and, I know that there's a lot of restrictions, but let him go out there and give up at least a hit before you pull him. And on top of that 5 no-hit innings, he did hit a home run that night, which I don't think anyone had ever done before. And now he's a 50 home run guy again.
You know, Ted, it was kind of funny seeing that because as an Angels fan, you know, seeing Ohtani have a game, you know, 5 shutout innings, hits a home run to hit his 50th home run, and the Dodgers lose the game. It's just, you know, it's kind of interesting to see that parallel. But yeah, I was curious. I want to know your thoughts on that, because what do you think of this new age, even though it's been going on for years now? But when you see so often, when you see a guy, you know, having a no-hitter going into 8 innings and, you know, they get taken out and to preserve them, and it's understandable. I got to imagine that you miss those days where, you know, Nolan Ryan will just pitch until his arm falls off. What do you think about teams being more reserved for preserving their pitchers and not letting them go out for maybe that big no-hitter?
Now they have such a huge investment in the player that they have to kind of protect him more than in the past. But for me, if you are a baseball player and you have a no-hitter going, there's no way you're taking me out of this game. Let me try to get a no-hitter. If I don't, then take me out. But don't take me out until I prove that I didn't, because it's history. And you only have that opportunity. It's very rare to even have the opportunity. So don't take it away from a player. Let him give it up himself. Just like with Yamamoto, dude went 8 2/3 innings. He was going to get his no-hitter. There, I think he might have told Roberts, I want to do this. I want to get that no-hitter, right? And our Jackson Holiday busted it up with 1 out left. Jackson hits a home run to break up the no-hitter and the shutout all on 1 pitch.
And Ted, one thing that just to throw one more thing into this conversation, the one thing that bugged me more than anything, do you remember years ago that the Washington Nationals sat Steven Strasburg because they were worried to overuse him in the playoffs for the Nationals, and they ended up losing, and it just in the World Series, and it just made me think, like, you're saving him for, like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I get that he had a fragile arm, or, you know, not a fragile arm, but just to preserve him. But when the Nationals made that decision to sit him, it was just like, God, you know, and they haven't had a great chance to go back anyway. And Tad, now let's shift over to the NL West. It's getting interesting.
It sure is, and it has been the last month, because for a period of time there, the Dodgers were playing so bad that as long as anybody made a move, they would have blown it, but nobody did. And again, like right now during this last 10, they're 7-3, and they've been holding on because the Padres are only 5-5 playing average baseball. They're 83-70, 13 games over 500, 2.5 behind the Dodgers, who are 85-67. And that 7-3 in the last 10 is very important. They played good when it counted. Snell has stepped up. His last 2 starts have been unbelievable, and they needed him all season, but maybe they're going to get him when it counts the most towards the end and through the playoffs. So if the Padres just played good baseball, like good, they would have won this division, but they haven't. They're just playing average, and right now 5-5 in the last 10. Same with the D-backs. They had a chance to make a move too, but they're 8.5 back now.
You know, being a Chargers fan, you know, I know a lot of Padres people, and they just say the same thing. Like, the Dodgers have, Ted, it's kind of crazy. They've had some crippling losses that I think would fold a lot of teams. I mean, Yamamoto had that no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and the Dodgers ended up blowing that game, and they just came back with this winning, you know, just wins and wins. And they even had another horrific loss just last week, and it just doesn't faze them. And that's why a lot of people, I think, counted up Dodgers a little too, well, it's not like they're counting them out. I still think they're not massive. I still think they're a decent World Series favorite. But yeah, if the Padres just played better baseball, they might have caught the Dodgers. But the Dodgers are the Dodgers. And Tad, speaking of, have to say that the great Clayton Kershaw on Thursday announced that he is retiring after the 2025 season. Big news for one of the all-time Dodger greats, one of the all-time great pitchers of this generation.
I'm glad that he's made the decision now, because he's pitching really well. I'd like to see him pitch well through the playoffs, because he hasn't traditionally, and that would be a way to cap it off for him. But I think he wants to go out on top, which right now he is. He's pitching really well for the Dodgers when it counts, and I just hope he maintains it through the playoffs, because, again, he's kind of tanked in the playoffs in the past, and I'd love to see him have a solid playoffs this year.
And, Ted, I just got to ask, I know you just brought up Kershaw's playoff troubles, but when it comes to all-time Dodger greats, a lot of Dodgers media, a lot of Dodgers people are going to put him up there. I mean, you got Sandy Koufax, you got Don Drysdale, you got Don Sutton, Fernando, remember Fernando Mania, Oral Hershiser, Tad, do you think Kershaw belongs in that upper echelon of Dodgers pitching history?
Definitely in the top 5. Number 2 as a lefty, and definitely in the top 5 in the history of their organization. He's been there his whole career. He's done unbelievable things for them. Playoffs, World Series. There's not much more that he could have done to prove that he's in the all-time greats of LA Dodgers pitchers. So even though that the Giants have also tanked at 76 and 76, 9 games back, man, they had a chance too. Everyone in this division that was sitting there had a chance to get the Dodgers when they were down, and they didn't do it. And now they're playing well, so forget it. And then the Rockies, 41 and 112. I don't think they can have the worst record in history because the White Sox did it last year, and I don't think they're going to reach that number. But 41 and 112 is a painful thing, and 1-9 in their last 10. There's going to have to be some major changes in Colorado.
I mean, Ted, it's kind of crazy that we almost went back-to-back seasons. Well, technically did. The White Sox having the worst season ever last year, and the Rockies on the verge of having almost the worst season ever. It's back-to-back, maybe the worst team performances in MLB history. I mean, I'm just kind of dumbfounded how, of all the years of baseball, it happened in back-to-back years like this.
Exactly. Now, with who's hot and who's not hitters in the National League, let's face it, Juan Soto, everybody was on him at the beginning of the year, but if you look at his numbers through today, he's had a very, very solid season. Maybe his best ever, and it didn't start out well, so it shows how well he has done since the last, say, 3 or 4 months. He has played unbelievable.
I feel like Mets fans are finally cheering. They're finally like, yes, this is the almost billion-dollar man that we're paying for. Last 15 games, he is hitting .311. He's got 7 home runs in his last 15 games. I mean, for a guy like Juan Soto, I mean, maybe he kind of stunk in the first half of the season, but he's heating up now.
Yeah, and look at his walks and strikeouts. Every year, he either leads the league or he's right there in leagues and walks. And his strikeouts aren't as bad as a lot of the other power hitters, but they're still too high for me. And if guys could just cut it down to that 80 to 90 that everybody kind of did back in the day, they'd be hitting 300.
And, speaking of the Mets, Francisco Lindor's having a really solid August. He's hitting .350 and hitting over 300 over his last 7 games.
Isn't he winning it right now? He's .305. Remember, National League, he's leading, right?
Right. And top of the National League right now. And Ted, just got to unfortunately have a few lowlights for the Knots. I mean, Mitchell Parker for the Washington Nationals. He gave up 6 against Atlanta just the other night, and he's given up 4 runs on his previous couple games as well. He's just not having a great August.
And if you got an ERA in the 10 range, man, you're not getting it done.
And not to pile on the Washington Nationals, but Jake Irvin has an 8.78 ERA in the month of August as well. Andre Palante, 8.67. Shane Baz of my Tampa Bay Rays, 7.92. Sorry to air you guys out, but that is a bad month of baseball.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're throwing like that, it's not fun to go out to the mound because nothing's working.
And Ted, we talked a little bit about the AL MVP between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. But the National League, I mean, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion. Everyone has, at least 9 out of 10 people have Ohtani as the consensus MVP. But the way Kyle Schwarber's been playing down the stretch here, if he really starts cranking it up even more, do you see any glimmer of hope that Schwarber can catch Ohtani for the MVP race?
Like you said, there's this voter thing where it's almost like he's a shoe-in, write-in ballot guy. We're going to give it to Ohtani because he does so much. He's pitched really well this year too, even though they limited him like he was a rookie or a first-time out guy. I just wish if you're going to let him pitch. And I don't think the starting role was the way to go. Like he could have been their closer and by now had 30 saves, So I don't know. I don't know if they're using him right, but when you've done as well as he has at the plate and on the mound, it's hard to not give him the MVP. Like nobody else is going out there and winning games for you on the mound that is also playing and hitting. So you almost have to give it to him. But Schwarber's numbers, man, he's got 128 RBIs too. He might finish with like 135. So that's a really good season. And, now he's not a guy that hits 189 anymore. He's in the league average range. So that's good to see. And he walks more.
And, Ted, I almost feel bad for Schwarber because he's almost in a no-win situation in terms of if any other time period, he would be easily the MVP, no problem, no questions asked. But unfortunately, he's in the era of, I think, the best baseball player to ever step on a field. That is Shohei Ohtani. I know you might think that's a little too early, but unfortunately for Schwarber, I really think he's just in the presence of maybe the best baseball player of all time.
Exactly. And, there's nobody that you can really compare him to, except for if you turn the clock back to Babe Ruth days when there was nobody that was the type of athlete that Ohtani is, or any of the other athletes for that matter. So it's hard to say that anyone has ever been this level of an athlete in this sport as Ohtani is right now. So you got to give him the MVP. Thanks again to our producer for co-hosting the Who's Hot and Who's Not in both the National League and the American League. Who's likely to win their division and which teams are most likely to be playing in the wild card. Don't go away. When we return, we have 7-time All-Star, World Series champion, and a winner of multiple gold medals as a coach for USA Baseball, Dodger great Reggie Smith. You're listening to The Sandlot right here on Fox Sports 610 AM and 106.7 FM. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by TerramarCollective.com.
This is Clint Barmas, and I'm still listening to The Sandlot.
This is former Major League pitcher Dave Dravecki, and you are listening to The Sandlot.
This is Doug Brokel of the Houston Astros, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Dusty Baker, manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
This is Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective.
Step up to the plate with EconoAir's solar services. Their solar solutions deliver unbeatable energy savings, keeping your power bills low all season long. Be a game changer. Switch to clean energy today. Sandlot listeners mention the show for an exclusive discount on maintenance or repair. Call EconoAir at 714-333-0130 and hit your energy savings out of the park.
South Bay Credit Union features 3 centrally located branches in the South Bay, 24/7 time-saving digital banking tools, over 30,000 free ATMs nationwide, and a 100% commitment to the South Bay. South Bay Credit Union cares about their community. They've contributed over 3,600 employee volunteer hours. Over 20 local organizations have received donations or sponsorships, and they have raised over $150,000 for the Children's Miracle Network. South Bay Credit Union. Live better, do better, bank better.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 610 AM and 106.7 FM. Also streamed live on 610foxsports.com. The Sandlot is presented by TerramarCollective.com. Right now, we have a man that took batting practice with Ted Williams at the age of 18 every single day. He's from Compton, California. Reggie Smith. We're with Red Sox Hall of Famer, should be a Dodger Hall of Famer, in my eyes, should be a Hall of Famer, Reggie Smith. Thanks so much for being a guest on The Sandlot.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. Finally getting to hook up with you.
Yeah, I know you have a very busy schedule. You've been in this game for extremely long time. We're going to turn back the clock to all the way when you were a kid growing up in Southern California, Compton, and I got to say, during that time, I think Compton was a pretty cool place to grow up.
It was, especially for sports, because I look at the number of guys that I played with. We played Sandlot ball either against each other from different teams or on the same teams that came out of the Compton, Los Angeles area that played professional sports, either baseball or football at that time. And when I look back and think about as a young player coming up in the Los Angeles area, we played sports year round in different sports. If it was football season, we played football. It was baseball season, we played baseball, basketball, track. We did all of those things during their particular seasons. But the thing that I can say that whenever that season was, and we were playing, we were always giving our best to be the best that we possibly could, and competing against each other. And I think that that's what eventually, helped in being able to play at the higher levels of the game because of the competition and the quality of the talent that was developed at that time. So, because I imagine ultimately playing on an American Legion team, players my age, 17, 18, and 19 years old, and never losing a game because of the talent we had. There players like Donald Wilson, Bob Watson, Roy White, Ron Woods, myself, Leon McFadden, Charlie Murray, Eddie Murray's older brother, Brashear Davis, Willie Crawford, Bobby Tolan, Doc Ellis. These are guys that all played in Major League Baseball or Major League Sports, and Estes Banks, who played for the Green Bay Packers, and Walt Roberts played for the Green Bay Packers. In football, there were a lot of great athletes at the time, and surprisingly, me going into baseball because I really had intended to play football.
Let's talk about the true Sandlot in your neighborhood. Was there a spot that you guys gathered and played some modified game? And
actually, we played in something in the streets.
There you go.
We would, if there were no cars parked in a way that we couldn't play, and even then we would find it. And it's talk that we had earlier, where you had to learn how to direct the ball to hit it into a certain area. But there were two parks, community parks, that were close enough that we could walk to, and where especially during the summer months and so forth, we would go there and you play games, ping pong, all kinds of games in whether softball or baseball if you had a glove at the time. And you had two parks that we could go to. So if we did get a game up, and of the kids, you do the old thing with the bat and choose to see who gets to pick first, and we would do that. And surprisingly, and it's something, you talk about Sandlot that I did at my academy one time. I let the kids play Sandlot ball. We said, we want the first 22 players that show up. You're going to play, and divide the teams. Even we got it right as to which players that you wanted on your team, what the positions that they played, the batting order. And I did the same thing as an experiment, and the kids did the exact same thing. They got it right. They got to play multiple positions, and they did it themselves. All we did, we threw the baseballs out there and said we would umpire, and that would be it. Sandlot is important, but unfortunately, you don't see it as much today.
You really don't. All the fields are locked up. You have to have a permit to get on them. Back in the day, we could just show up, but we also modify, like you said, played in the street or played in the backyard, played in an open space that we could just play some kind of game. But I look back, and those skills that I developed during that time were way more important than the 20 games I played in organized baseball per year, because, we did the multiple sport thing, whatever year.
That was the thing, because baseball is so organized right now that there's no spontaneity from the kids learning. Because if you think about the word play, if you spell it PLAY, it stands for physically learn about yourself. And if you add time on to the end of it, playtime is through individual means of expression. So when you're going out there and you're playing, we were playing at kids, we were daring to do the things that we saw the major league players or the older players do. You would dare to do those things, and that was the proving ground or test ground to be able to go out and do that. So we were actually learning to be natural, be ourselves. So in developing those skills that way, that were unencumbered by so much, quote, instruction. You know, we didn't so much need the instruction. What we needed was organization, to say, okay, you know, to play at this time, at this location, and we're going to play this many innings. We already had the skills, and we were continuing to develop them in game situations. But we had already done that as kids because, you know, you play to win.
Now, you mentioned you thinking football is going to be the way you're going to go, but then at some point you choose baseball. At what age did you realize, wow, I'm going to be pretty good at baseball? I probably should spend some time developing this.
Well, like I said, we played seasonal sports, and I wanted to play football, and I absolutely love football. I wanted to be a defensive back, and I had played offense, and I thought that that's what I was going to go to school after high school and play football. But my dad got sick, and it was an opportunity for me to do something for the family because I had been seen and scouted as a baseball player. And it was a chance for me to help the family because at that time when I signed my contract, there was no draft. So you could sign with any team that you wanted. And ultimately, I wound up signing with the Minnesota Twins at the time for a signing bonus that really I was supposed to have been placed on a major league roster. So they sent me out to play for 2 months in the Appalachian League in 1963.
Thanks again to Reggie Smith. We'll have more about this incredible man that has been in professional baseball for 62 years, Reggie Smith, when we return right here on Fox Sports 610 AM and 106.7 FM. Also streamed live on 610foxsports.com. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Terramar Collective. Check out terramarcollective.com.
Hey, this is Mike Myers, former left-handed pitcher of the Major League Baseball, played 13 years. Everybody out there, listen to The Sandlot, have a great time, enjoy the summer, and keep on swinging for the fences.
Looking for printed apparel for your school, business, sports team, or company event? Max Graphics LA is your solution. Go to maxgraphicsla.com today and check out our options. We offer screen printing, embroidery, and more on clothes from major suppliers. Our graphic designers can help you with your logo or design. We also offer custom online retail shops where we take care of all orders and fulfillment. Visit our website at maxgraphicsla.com or call 310-595-1195 today to get started.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective. Do you want more than just wins for your kids? Do you want confidence, character, and grit? At Grit Sports Collective, we help young athletes play with purpose and train with passion. With elite coaching in baseball and basketball, we're building more than skills, we're building competitors. Because greatness starts with mindset and is earned through sweat. Grit Sports Collective. Play fierce, train harder. Now enrolling in San Diego, California. Visit gritsportscollective.com and sign up today.
My name is Ethan Holiday, play shortstop for the Stillwater High School baseball team. I am a couple months away from being hopefully selected in the Major League Baseball draft. I am now part of the Sandlot.
Welcome back to the Sandlot right here on Fox Sports 610 AM and 106.7 FM, KAVL, the Antelope Valley's sports talk station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. Right now, we have more from a great ambassador to the game of baseball, Reggie Smith.
And managed to be able to have some comparable numbers with some of those guys, and you know, and I can live with that. You know, we were talking earlier about some of the people that I played against, played with. Imagine as an 18-year-old kid having to sit in a room And in this room was Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, Willie McCuddy, Billy Williams, Juan Marshall, Orlando Cepeda, Earl Wilson, Lenny Green, Ramon Mejia, Felix Mantilla. I can just go on, and as an 18-year-old kid, I used to have to sit in this room and listen to them talk about baseball.
Wow, what a learning experience. Oh my God.
And I had known Ernie Banks since I was 15 years old and had known Mays since I was 17. And these guys took good care of me during my career and even afterwards, to get to know them. But, again, having had that opportunity and putting up numbers that compared in certain years to those great players, the Hall of Fame, I'm okay where I am. Like I said, I know what I did.
Hey, and you're still doing it. And what I love is that you're still an ambassador of the game. You're still teaching the game. You still give kids opportunities. And that's a huge part of staying in the game, is passing the game on and realizing that it's kind of our duty as former players is to pass it on.
Absolutely. I was fortunate that a lesson that I learned and I never forget. My parents were very loving and giving people, and my mother used to say the only way to keep a gift is that you have to share it. And I believed in that. And also that, like I said, they were religious people. They said that anytime you have an opportunity to help someone, be glad to do it, because that's God's way of answering someone else's prayers.
Wow.
So that's to this day, the talent that I had, the gift that was bestowed on me by those people that came before me to share the information and things that they did. It's my responsibility to pass it on, share it. That way I get to keep those memories, knowing that someone else, especially some little boy, can enjoy this little boy's game, because baseball is still a little boy's game.
It really is. And you got to keep the heart in it, because I see a lot of guys play the game for the wrong reasons and then they get out of it. But if it's really in your heart, you stay in it forever. And that's why I'm still doing this. I'm going to Australia tonight, Reggie, for 9 weeks to teach baseball. I'm going to go again right after Christmas for another 9. So I'm still doing that. I've been doing it for 20 plus years, going to Australia and giving kids a chance. I got 6 kids playing college ball from Australia right now. Got another 6 or 8 for next year. So every year I try to help those Aussies get over here and give them education at least. And a few of them slip through the cracks and get into pro ball.
That's great. Good for you. Anything can help you. I know I'm an old man now, but if you come and help, let me know.
Well, hey, I'm down there. So if for some reason MLB brings you down for any reason, please let me know, because I'd be happy to have you come out to one of my things. And if anything, just talk to the kids. Because I remember the first time I ever heard the simple theory came from you right there in Sydney, standing there in a rain delay at Parramatta Stadium. And you're talking to my players about just keeping it simple, Don't overthink it, right?
The key is being as natural as possible. You need to experiment, because these are the things that, when I was especially in Boston, Ted Williams, I was fortunate enough that he saw me working on the field, because they had run out of pitches, so I had grabbed 2 buckets of ball, and I was out on the field throwing the ball up, and that hit one bag right-handed, the other bag left-handed. He saw me out there in the field asking, what are you doing? And I told him. He said, pick the balls up and meet me at the cage. So he spent time with me every day. He told me, meet me in the cage, and he would spend time to me talking about hitting. But the thing that I noticed, and even in later years, because he would always say, Smitty, did I ever tell you about how to swing? Did I ever? I said, no. He said, what were the 3 things? I said, he would say, have a good plan, get a good pitch to hit, and be quick with the bat. Those things, and it was through him that I learned, because he would say some of the stuff that people are talking about and teaching, they're finding what someone does naturally as being in conflict of how they think it should be done. So you have to you be yourself, and you have to discover that yourself through your practice, because he would tell me you got to dig it out of the dirt, and your blisters have to get blistered.
That's right. And look at Cal Raleigh, this catcher that's a switch hitter, man. I know that you've been zeroing in on him because we haven't seen anything like this since really you and Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray and Chipper Jones. You know, the really good switch hitters are gone, man, and it hurts.
Well, it's because, I think in a way, some of the coaching has become myopic, and they only want you to hit for power and hit home runs and everything. The expectations of trying to do that from two sides, it's hard enough to do from one, but you're doing it from both sides of the plate. The kids are not being encouraged these days to become switch hitters, because usually in the past they would say, well, a lot of guys became a switch hitter because they couldn't hit the curveball on one side or the other, and it was generally a right-handed hitter that had speed that they would have become a switch hitter. So I think with this new approach of hitting for power, slugging, as they say, that the switch hitter that can hit well from both sides, hit for average and hit for power from both sides, is kind of gone by the wayside, and that's a sad thing.
It really is. And I used to love seeing guys come up that you knew it didn't matter who they brought out. They're going to jump to the other side and do damage no matter what.
Well, that guy, to me, still has a tremendous value if they would just get back to it, to be able to hit the ball well from both sides. And Cal Raleigh, maybe it will inspire others to continue to try and become a Cal Raleigh, because again, you have someone that can hit power from both sides, and he's really, really good at it.
He really is. And the way when he hits a home run, either right-handed or left-handed, that ball's coming off his bat, and it looks like he did it pretty easy.
Well, to me, that's what being the professional is, making something that's difficult look easy.
Yes, absolutely. Reggie, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on The Sandlot. It's absolutely been my honor to finally get you on my show. And I'm going to send you links to the live play and everything else, and then replay so you can share it. But I hope that I get a chance to meet you in person again sometime soon. I'm 60, you're 80. And you look like you're 60. I might look like I'm 80. What's going on here, Reggie?
Keep playing baseball. It keeps you young.
I actually played last year because I coached a team that club ball in Australia. If somebody didn't show up, you're on the roster. So I played second base a bunch. I pitched a couple times. I had to hit, I had to run the bases. That was the hard thing, running bases.
I understand. I resemble that remark. It was a pleasure talking. Sorry it took me so long to get on the show with you, Tad, but thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Here's a little more information about Carl Reginald Smith. Not only did he play in 17 major league seasons, but he also played a season in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, actually 2 full seasons in the Nippon Professional Baseball League in Japan. He played in the MLB from 1962 until 1982. He appeared in 1,987 games. That's almost 2,000 games. He hit 314 home runs with 1,092 RBIs and batted .287, which makes you a Hall of Famer now. He is a Boston Red Sox Hall of Famer, and that's why I said he should be a Dodger Hall of Famer. And for me, he should get votes for Hall of Fame because his numbers, 2,020 hits, 314 home runs, 1,092 RBIs, Red Sox, Cardinals, Dodgers, San Francisco Giants, and the Giants in Japan. He was a coach with the Dodgers. He was a 7-time All-Star in 69, 72, 74, 75, 77, 78, and 1980. He was a World Series champion with the Dodgers in 1981. He won a Gold Glove in 1968. He's in the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame, like I said, but he's still at 80 an ambassador of the game. He has his baseball academy. He's still helping kids. He's given opportunities. I'm 60 years old almost in a couple weeks, and this dude looks like he's 60 years old, and he's 80. And, man, I have a lot of admiration for Reggie Smith and what he's done since he's retired. I got a chance to see him in the 2000 Sydney Olympics, win a gold medal for the U.S., Tommy Lasorda said it was the greatest moment in his baseball life because even when the Dodgers won the World Series, there's a lot of other Americans that aren't very happy. But when you win a gold medal, the whole country's pulling for you. And Reggie was on that coaching staff, so he got a chance to see that as well. I was there as a scout watching Ben Sheets and Jose Contreras go 9 innings each in the gold medal game. It was unbelievable. So Reggie Smith, born in Southern California, grew up in Compton. Sounds tough, but back in that time, it was a pretty good place to grow up. You heard a few of the guys that he played with, and a lot of those guys are all-stars in the big leagues and Hall of Famers today. So I'm very honored to have Reggie Smith as a guest on The Sandlot. Thanks for listening to the 23rd Sandlot show of the 2025 season. You can listen to The Sandlot the next 2 Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. as we wind down the 2025 Sandlot Radio Network season with 2 consecutive weeks of the best of Sandlot. Make sure you tune in right here on Fox Sports Radio 610 AM and 106.7 FM. Also streamed live on 610foxsports.com. You can catch replays of this year's and past season's episodes on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud page. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Sandlot Radio Show for video content with the players. We also have links to our YouTube, Spotify, and SiriusXM MLB network. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website to check out our reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send a message through the website, SandlotRadioNetwork.com. I'd like to thank our special guest host and producer, Nick Wright, for the rundown on who's hot and who's not in both the American League and the National League, and to Reginald Carl Smith, Reggie, for sharing his incredible story on The Sandlot. Be sure to tune in for the next 2 Saturdays at 9 a.m. for the best of Sandlot 2025. The Sandlot is presented by Terramar Collective. Go to terramarcollective.com for more information. The Sandlot is sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, Econoware, South Bay Credit Union, Max Graphics LA, and Grit Sports Collective. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective.
The heat was unbearable. My AC was striking out and my house felt like a summer game with no shade. Then I called Econoware. What a game changer. They knocked the heat out of the park and now I'm comfortable year-round. Give Econoware a call today at 714-333-0130. That's 714-333-0130. Sandlot listeners mention the show for an exclusive discount on maintenance or repair with Econoware.
With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future. Do you want more than just wins for your kids? Do you want confidence, character, and grit? At Grit Sports Collective, we help young athletes play with purpose and train with passion. With elite coaching in baseball and basketball, we're building more than skills, we're building competitors. Because greatness starts with mindset and is earned through sweat. Grit Sports Collective. Play fierce, train harder. Now enrolling in San Diego, California. Visit gritsportscollective.com and sign up today.